It's supposed to be कि अगली किताब लेके बैठी है ना, this big one. The big one is कि
अच्छा, she's
you
actually
have to be like एक case ज़माने दे person नाल तुसी deal कर रहे हो. Because some people are not in 2026.
No.
Some people are
Most
in
people.
1200s, or some people are in 1400s, some people are in 1920s. So you have to be like, who am I dealing with? And that Pilkan tree was so red, and she was also happened to be wearing a red sari. So it reminded me a lot of Nani ji. मैं क्या इतना ही जानते हो रहे हैं ना? Because she used to cycle to the court in a sari. So like, I'm in the process of making this scale, and this is my first one of this scale. And earlier, sometimes I put elements, and then I decide to change them. Also, like for example, I put 2 elephants here, but I'm actually going to put a bulldozer to replace this guy, because I wanted to show paradise or like nature, but I also want to show how we are not valuing the main thing in this world, which is forests and other creatures that we are supposed to be on an equal platform with and not be ruling over. So yeah, it's going to come in here, and other things will also happen. This was a drive that I took to Zero Festival, where I had to go, and overnight the guy was drunk, and people are like, in this 2012, again, not really functional Google. So how far is Zero? How far is Zero from Guwahati? But within that, there is so much like color that you can still see even if it's night. So I wanted to see how does that work. And then the next day I went for a walk. So then coming up to the mountains for a few days definitely was a great idea.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the podcast, Theatre of Joy. And as usual, I just can't help it. It just happens. I'm so excited again today. Because today we have this wonderful, beautiful being. Her name is Samia Singh. She is an artist, but she works in many forms. Like she's a painter, she's a singer, a musician, she composes, sings, and writes her songs. And she's a designer. And on all 3 platforms, she's amazing. She just flows from one to the other. I'm sure, this is my stupidity talking maybe, because as an artist, you flow.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what format what form you're working in.
Yeah, like you might get stuck, but eventually the only way is to flow through it. Yeah.
Thank you, Samia, for coming on to the
Thank you for having me.
podcast.
Thank you.
Amazing. And I've been sort of sitting with her works and her philosophy for a few days now. And I can't imagine that there's such a beautiful being in this world. Samia comes from a very, very, very rich background. Her parents, her grandfathers, her great-grandfather, they've all been doing things that kind of changed the world for them and for us, of course. Her great-grandfather, he started a commune in Punjab. And I'm just saying all this because as an artist, Samia it's in her DNA. She doesn't have to dip into it, but it's there. Her family runs a very, very, very famous and very old magazine called the Preetlari, very well known. There are people who grew up on it as young people when there wasn't much writing and there wasn't the internet, and so did I. And they're all writers, storytellers, story writers, and both grandparents have made amazing contribution to the world. And Samia is doing it in her own way. Let's just listen to her because she has a lot to contribute to us today. Samia,
Thank you. That sounds more grand than lived, but yeah.
no, I mean, what I think your great grandfather gave you and us and the other members of your family is the idea or a way to live deliberately.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't have. We grew up with conditioning, strong conditioning. ये हमारी family है, ये हमारा देश है, ये हमारा धर्म है. But I think Gurbaksh Singh ji gave all of us who have somehow connected with him the knowing that one can live deliberately. And this was in the 40s, right?
30s, yeah.
30s, my goodness. And somehow Samia has this rich background, let's say, rich soil that she's come from. And you know what? I'm not saying it shows. It's where her art comes from. She's lived in a village for a lot of her
first
childhood.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah, first 10 years of her childhood. Traveled all over. And she makes music. She writes, composes, like I said. So, Samia, let's get to her.
Yeah.
So, when I say that you learn to live deliberately, what does it bring up for you?
I think, like you very rightly said, that if you are formed in the first years of your childhood, we had a very, very special place that we grew up in, Preetnagar, and we were cousins, parents, uncles, aunts, my daddy holding the fort together, and then just like the houses by my great grandfather Gurbaksh Singh were designed without any walls, without even any gates. So there was only a hedge around the house and a brick path that would come in and go out. So typically we would only go home to eat and we'd be outdoors the whole time. And I think given today and this idea of safety and even environmentally to be in a temperature that is safe, these things did not quite apply to us. So
you were out in the sun and rain.
Yeah, it was another world, and it feels funny to say because I'm not even that old, but it's changed every decade. It changes so much. So we would like invent games all day. There used to be this game called Crystal Maze. It used to be on TV. So we should invent our own challenges. Like if there's monsoon, my cousins and I would put bricks really far, and then we'll have to jump from brick to brick. And if you touch the water, you're out.
You're dead.
And then there was like a field of fodder. And I challenged everyone, and we all got beaten also for it. Because I said we will kneel through the field and make a huge maze. In the middle of the field, we will hide chocolates. And then someone had to go look. So we destroyed quite a lot of fodder and we got chupates for it. But these were the sort of games and like so much nature. I remember some of my pastime to think about life used to be just like finding some dead butterflies, because at some point they in a field you'll find better, and I used to hold these like burials for them alone. And so we all had very community sort of upbringing, yet we all had so much space to also be alone, because there's just like the idea of space in a village is very different from the city.
Like nature is kind of benevolent.
Yeah, and then the scale at which, because your house is this much and then this field. So when a storm hits, you see all the dust flying, you see all the windows rattling. The scale is very different from being in a urban environment. So yeah, I think that had a big impact on me. And same with emotions and openness. I think we came from a culture and my dadi, my nani, my nana. I didn't meet my dada, but we also have Vaishnav uncle who was the IAS officer who helped Preetlari a lot, and we lived with him. And through all these conversations, there was such a level of truth that you can tell anyone anything you feel, and you will not be like judged, or it's not an authority up and down system. Everyone's an equal. So sometimes I'd get a dictionary from Vaishnav uncle, give me a dictionary as a gift, you know. So like and then my aunt who was German, Evelyn Singh, she used to bring. She gave us all Harry Potter books when we were really young, and she made us watch The Matrix, and she explained it to us. So there was a lot of different
kind of
adults coming and from very different systems, and I think that amalgamation of truth and find your own truth, and there are many truths, and when you're struggling with something or you find that that system is not for you, it's easy to just say it's not for me. You don't have to like break your head and try to fit into
nobody asked you to fit in maybe a little bit, because
maybe a little bit,
the
but
leftist ideology.
I think with the left also there was a lot of reflection from my family, like, is the left always going to be the right answer? How left to go? How much development is also important, but how much anti-establishment is also important, and everyone find the balance for themselves. So I think we all have our own, understandings of industry and creativity, and like ecology, environment, and then literature.
So you had some nerdiness to sort of help you along.
Lots of it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And in whatever I could find that you've written or you've talked in interviews and things, you really talk a lot about being reveling in nature.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe when you had to move from the village to the city, maybe it was a little bit of a cultural shock.
Yeah, it was a different system, like from an open thing. But we used to come see my Nanaji and Naniji and in Charlie sector. And I remember the Chandigarh allure also. Like, what is this? Like, what is this city? Or what is this garden? And what is this lake and the rose garden? But then from here, the tree lanes, we all went swimming, even we were kids, and our cycling. When there was enough safety, even now, like I got hit by a car the other day cycling. So even now, cycling also, because everyone's driving much faster. Even though we have cycling lanes, we're one of the luckiest cities in India. But yeah, so then it became into a different. I think it's more fascination more than culture shock. It's more like, what am I interested in here? And I think it became more like these trees, and they're always changing, always swimming. And then I went to boarding school in Kasoli in Sanar. And over there, again, it's like a different landscape. And the sound of pine trees at night, and then the rain falling on the tin roof. So I think I've always sort of been interested in like looking for peace.
You have wonder, a sense of wonder, curiosity, which shows up in your, your paintings.
I think so. I think I have like an internal sort of slight anxiousness, and I always look for what is there to soothe me, and then it soothes me quite quickly. Nature. So I think I'm always in that sort of dialogue, because even from the class, I'd be looking out, and the teacher would throw some chalk, like, what are you doing? So I'd be like, looking at the light.
I know.
Yeah.
So your idea about freedom is also, being free to just chill in nature, and to find your own, you not have to toe the line, that has been sort of drawn for you, and that is because of other people's unresolved kind of ways of being, like
what sort of
conditioning.
line? What sort of line? What kind of towing of which line?
Towing of a line which, family, which our seniors, our our bosses kind of draw for you.
Yeah.
And because you mentioned somewhere that your idea of freedom is that.
Yeah. I've been quite interested in like the idea of like romantic partnership or marriage or like industrial in terms of work partnerships or friendships. So I've always been interested in like what are these relationships that hold truth yet allow you to stay who you are. And I think it's a really important question.
Very,
And
very.
it's central
Yes.
to everything. And I think when I was younger, like I was 13 or 16 or 20, these conditioning ideas would come from like books and songs and films of like this is what love is and this is what friendship is and this is what money is and this is what travel is. It's kind of like given to you in a very neat packet.
There are magazines which tell you how to
this is what your body
man,
is, and how to please your man, how to be
what to do in a situation where
how to be a good woman.
He's being like that. No, the men of course don't read that.
Yeah.
It's only
and we are trained.
It's written for women.
We are trained. We are supposed to be kept subservient, kept underfed, kept worrying about like 2 kgs up and down, so we are not able to relax. Thinner waists and infantilizing ourselves into looking like we are all 12 to 16. Yeah, so I think for a while it could seem interesting as between early like 15 to 20, end of 20s, I suppose. And then
if you're lucky enough, you haven't gotten stuck in a relationship by then.
or if you're unlucky enough, you get stuck in a few bad ones, and then you're like, okay, actually, I don't see any resolve. Because I think for me, maybe the way I am built, I like a lot of silence. I enjoy a lot of empty time so that I can actually let my brain come to an idea for music or come to an idea for yoga, come to an idea for painting. And if I don't have emptiness, time goes too quickly, and then I feel actually quite angry at myself that I haven't created anything in a while. And actually, sometimes if I'm in a job or if I'm in a relationship that's kind of sucking my energy out, sometimes a year or two goes by and then I haven't produced anything, and I feel quite like this is, I know this is what I'm meant to do. But yes, I have friends, and yes, I have a lover or a boyfriend once in a while when they are sane, and then I'm like, okay, it's not going to work.
Bye-bye.
Huh?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So yeah, or a job, and you say, okay, this job is really good for me. It's challenging me. It's making me grow. But then if some toxic, natures intertwine, either you can deal with it if it's healthy, and if it's a toxic line that is, someone's blind in their toxicity, then it's better to just leave. I think that's what I've learned, even at work, even in romance, even in friendships. So I think freedom is firstly to know what you want. What is your ideal thermostat where you feel creative?
Be free to look for it.
Yeah, or you have enough sanity and peace to look,
and time
and energy to look. And but at the same time, it's not something that you can shun a workable life. Like we all need to. I like to travel. I like to buy nice stuff. I like to have a place where I can feel like inspired. So for all of that, we need to pay, and for that, we need to be good at something that you can earn from. And that requires discipline to develop a practice. And it also requires discipline to say, oh, I don't want my practice to go in this direction. This is my direction. And it's constant towing of many lines. And these lines actually were only questions first, which would get me quite low. And over time, I started to stay with them. And I'd stay and I'd say, okay, let's just keep the questions with life. I don't want to answer all of them. And actually, they kind of change also. You might lean a bit this way and that way. And over time, it emerges like, oh, this is my direction. It's very slight. It's like in small decisions, your direction sort of gets cleared out. Whereas you might be going only very dogmatically towards like one place. Like sometimes I call my dad from Delhi. I'm like, I don't think I can live here and do this job. It's like it's too hectic, or the city is good. He's like, you don't have to. And then I call my uncle, my mama, and he's like, no one is in our family has held a job.
मेरे को जो बहुत जोर से आ रहा है ना, I mean, my mind went to, what your elders did. They were revolutionaries, right?
Yes.
In their own way. They, went into deliberate living. They really, really chose how they want to live and went along with it. And they probably had the same problems that you had. And they had words. They were wordsmiths. And they used that.
Yes.
And I think your revolution, you, in the way you want to live, in the way you make your choices, and the way you want will not be hounded into making any choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And survive over that. And like I said, your elders use words. You use color and paint and all that. I saw the paintings that you have made with women. They're just being. They're, usually a painting of a woman, I mean, more often than not, is a woman, maybe doing something to highlight, okay, how, whatever. I mean, it's could be on the dark side also. But Samia's paintings are women just being, just chilling, just eating, and that's in a culture like ours, where women are supposed to be a certain way, right? And you don't even see any woman just being that way without being apologetic about it. And her paintings, I mean, like, they're so wonderful. And the revolution lies there. Because words can also, I mean, maybe the time, whatever, but the visual medium can be bombastic. Anybody who just goes through those series of your paintings, or there's one lying in the Chandigarh park. Women don't lie like that in parks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's the revolution. And also, even in your design, you're not performative, right?
No.
You're curious and being and being with the sense of wonder comes through in your design. The way you use color, line, and space. I mean, the ones that I saw.
Yeah, I think I try to pull at a thread and try to see what comes up instead of putting myself into a painting or putting myself into a logo or myself into a color palette. I try to stay with the feeling of a painting or this feeling of inspiration. And in design, I try to stay with the client's intention. Like, why is this project important to this person? Who all are participating? Who are the stakeholders? What's the story? And I try to even work with clients who kind of are in line with my kind of world views. Like, I don't try to work in places that I don't intentionally line up, because then I can't really create. I think it's part of some level of revolt, but it's like a softer revolution. Yeah, so I think generationally, because we've had such strong, intelligent people and they're all trying to find their answers. I think my kind of inquiry is also similar. So I'm very strong and defend my line, but at the same time, I think my line of inquiry is more soft. Like, I think I go around like kind of like a little explorer, because I think that's the energy that I've had since I've been a child, just like looking in the surroundings for what. Yeah, like, I mean, in the library.
Talking about design,
Yeah.
Design actually makes the world.
Yes.
What people see,
Yes.
what people see every day, and it's very important to be a revolutionary in design also. It's not just giving you your bread and butter.
Yes.
You're
No.
making a difference.
100%. No, I value the work that I create, and I think there's as much intention in my design as there is with my paintings or my music. And even from time, like, I've been working for like 15 years now, even from the time I started to now, so many things have emerged. Like, when you're starting out, you're looking more at the outside world. Okay, what is the current design state? And we have to do, because design evolves very quickly. It's a very young profession, and still within the time that you're working, within the decade, or within the right now it's AI. It's also simultaneously bespoke. It's also artisanal. So while technology is going to simplify processes, creativity is going to be even more important, because only like the second level can be officially formatted or documented as process, but the thinking is still going to shine. So it's a nice, time to see which way. So in all, like politics, like finance, even design has, the world is affecting it all the time. So it's really interesting. And then your own values, like simple lines, for example, like my great grandfather, Preetnagar is all based on Art Deco architecture, of bringing softness to concrete. And we are in Chandigarh, so in Bauhaus and in the city, which is post-industrial, it's coming to see how to bring basic elements like concrete and brick, but bring an openness and offset it with greenery. This is Chandigarh, right? And it still makes you feel quite alive because it's simple enough. So similarly, like if I'm designing a space, if I'm designing a website or a logo, all these things come in, but in a very subtle manner. So I think as we start, we are more loud, or we want to gather as much from the outside. But as we progress, like things get more subtle, and I think it's even with boundaries, even with wayfinding. So it gets more intricate, but not as complicated. Intricate yet simple.
I think whatever the the Zindabad Mutabad kind of work has been done in your family. Now you have more subtle ways
they were not always Zindabad Murdabad. They also
I use the wrong word. It's not about. It's just about questioning and always trying to see,
being kind of aware and alert. And I think they've all been that, like, from like my nani highlighting. I was telling you, newspaper with Bio Koinange for like the Kenyan revolution to get freedom, because she grew up and was born in Nairobi. And Vaishnav uncle also looking at like the political and financial sort of state of Punjab, and giving, important state directions. And Dadaji, who I never met, but all his short stories that we read, there's so much depth, and it's all so intricate. And they're talking about human stories from partition, and it's also talking about these men talking in the Lahore, living room about the young maid. So there's a lot of like reading of society, and I think even my parents, their own conversations in the house, the conversations, character, personality, values. I think it comes to that sort of a baseline, and I think that's what we have in common. Without sometimes one has to be aggressive also to defend when you're being attacked in a manipulative, but sometimes you just have to look for things very softly. So we need to have both, like the Shiva or the Kali aspect and the soft.
Even Navtejji and Gurbaksh Singh ji,
and
they had created that space in which they could pour out in the literature, and
and even Nanaji's like trade union, strong boundaries for industry, but yet he's a poet. Writing beautiful poems, and I've made some of them into songs as well. And he used to also paint and play the flute. And Naniji told me, like, never stop your music, no matter what you're doing professionally. Never stop. So I think all these things still keep feeding me. And even my dadi used to hum these songs. She used to sing that she heard a Tangawala sing when she was in Sialkot. So it's all part of our kind of
and
to draw and live in, swim in.
That is a special thing you have.
Yes.
Is just soaking in the whatever is around, which is probably you learned growing up, and also being in a sense of wonder and taking it in.
Yeah.
Because many of us would maybe just say, okay, aisa hota hai. You're more concerned with not really looking at everything that is happening. Or maybe children are, but and young people are, but they soon learn that that is not important. You know, what they have to get from the outside, what is important for their rosy roti, or stuff is important. But you sustain it. So do I.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I read somewhere like how when you're a child up to the age of 7 or 10, you haven't built your ego yet. So every other person's energy is around you and you automatically become it. If someone's very fidgety, you'll have a child who would do that. I think dogs are similar, so not that children are like dogs, but energy is open. So I think as an artist or a creative person, and I have many artists and creative friends, my sisters and artists, my mothers, we all have a little more open nervous system.
Yeah, of course.
Because we pick up information on a very vast scale. And that is a very interesting thing to encounter, because when you're younger, you're like, have I lost the plot? Like, why does everything hit me from 30 directions? And like, everyone else seems to be quite keeping it together. Like, what's going on? Like, am I like moody or am I like unstable? Like, these questions are there when you're younger and sometimes even now. But then you realize that, okay, actually, we still have the autonomy to be like, it's there, but it's kind of 360 around you, but inside you, there's still enough space to let it process. You don't have to pick it up immediately.
I like to say that some people with energies like Samia have 100 tabs open at once.
Yeah, maybe
everything is downloading.
Yeah,
and you can't put it in any kind of a linear,
Yeah, it comes and lives around you, and then it asks to be done something with, and then you answer that. So I think creativity is more like sitting with a lot of things that affect you or make you feel moved negatively or positively, and then you kind of observe them and say, okay, is there an action that I'd like to take towards this? Is it a thing I should mix with the other thing that was bothering me? So there's a lot of that cooking with ingredients.
And then you paint.
And then I paint, yes.
And that must be taking in such a situation, must be taking a lot from you.
It's like,
I mean, I'm not a painter, so
I
don't know. I'd really love to know.
Okay. Mostly what happens to me, and I've experienced this with other fellow painters, and they describe it in a way which is quite close as well. Like, someone said that, painters, like, they don't have to talk after that feeling. They just need to go and put it out. And that's really important to not lose that first initial thing. So for that, I have a sketchbook. Normally, if you can't draw it, at least you write a paragraph. If you don't have a pen and paper, send yourself a text. Put it on a notes, like put a little paragraph of what is the thing. So I have a little list on my notes. I put down 1, 2, 3 in different categories. So that's the first sort of level. And then I studied printmaking in Florence until that time, and I'd studied design in Srishti in Bangalore. From those two places, it was quite interesting because the idea of a logbook or a notebook or a journal that always is with you and you're putting things into it. Now, we may come back to it 20 years later. We might see a thread form across time, or at least we have a true encounter of that time later. So that's one. And then when we paint, it's like, earlier I would really spend a lot of time like perfecting, like what kind of nose, what kind of hand gesture. And I'd spent so much time on the sketch. But when I went to Italy, they were like, don't overdo your sketch, because your main master will never match up to the sketch, because you've already emptied so much of that pure energy in sort of iterating it. So get a gist of it and then just trust yourself enough to go for it. So now I'm in that sort of exploration of like, I have a feeling it's going to look horrible for the first few layers in the painting, but you start to sort of park these rough compositionally places, colors, and stuff, and then you get into refinement. But then there's a thing of like how much to refine and how to stay open enough to have accidents happen that you didn't intend, and they're there, and you're like, oh, I can change it into something. So it's like that sort of openness, and it's actually the flow state which we experience when we do yoga, when we are running or writing, making music. So the trust that it will work out, and the trust that it is now done, and now we shouldn't overdo it. I think so. These two lines are the hardest to draw because there's no real right answer, and it's more sort of intuitive. And for me, I feel really like anything that is bothering me or anything that's making me deeply excited, they both come and get resolved through creating, you know. So they
It's a
lead,
healing.
yeah, it's very healing, and they kind of clear the charge. You know, whatever charge you're carrying, it could be anger, it could be happiness, it could be like exhaustion. It kind of purifies every charge in a way. I think that's the best I can describe. And then, yeah.
And has there been a time when you sort of have half finished a painting and you didn't want to go back to it for a bit?
Yeah, like there are tons.
Never went back to it.
There are tons here, like this one. I can tell you about the other ones, and then sometimes I have to look at them for like a year or 2 years, and they just lie there. And then maybe someday in 30 minutes I'll finish it, because like that's the thing, that you had the first idea, but sometimes the second part is the contrast that you didn't have, or you had it so sorted in your head, but when you put it, it looks a bit cliched. So then you have to leave it and be like, okay, like what's the, and then you have another experience, and then that answers it. So they are kind of like questions.
So you have to be in the flow. You can't go with the normal thing, yaar, khatam nahi kari, and make yourself wrong about it. And it's about, you know, finishing paintings. And
no, I mean, a lot of people, I think they do produce for that sort of a market value or a demand and supply thing. But I don't believe art is for that. Like, I think even design is not even for that. You know, like, okay, you've established the design identity, you made a beautiful system. Yes, then you have to have derivatives like iska sticker chahiye or iska for a banner for a website. But still, they still need that kind of particular attention. Is it working right for that format?
Once the art is done.
Yeah. So even like this kind of churning out, yes, it's a phase. For example, if I have a show and I have to frame everything, I have to write all the descriptions, I have to make a PDF. That is the time for that churning out, which is kind of like putting it together. But I think to create, I wouldn't use that approach. We need it. It's more production stage, you know, like to set up a presentation of it.
So you have to be in tandem with being a businesswoman, Nana.
Yeah. But there are two different times. Like when you're doing art, there is no thought of business. And when you're doing business, yeah, it's like, it's more than like a businesswoman as a tag. It's more like, if I'm going to buy something, I would like a nice frame. If I'm going to buy something, what should the experience be?
But you know, that's a blessed state to be in.
Yeah.
You're not always thinking about how this painting will sell.
No, because I think that's why I kind of keep it quite separate with design, because design is client oriented,
and
it's a service.
It's an achievement.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because that's why I was really confused on what to study, you know, and I was like in school, I was like, what will I do? And then I used to draw these trees in Kodaikanal in Cholai school to calm down primarily, just like anxiety or whatever. And then some lovely couple gave me this book on French teachings on light, how to draw light. But it's all in French. I didn't speak, there was not even any Google. So I just kind of understood basics and I tried to understand light. And I was like, okay, I can draw. I think I can draw. What can I study? Well, fine art. And then my Masi took me to Maya and Charlie. And then they were like, oh, we know someone who's studying design. And I was like, what is design? So we ended up going to give an exam in
So
Srishti.
I mean, kids who are born in these times find the stuff through the internet. But you had people all in your
Yeah.
talent. So many wonderful
Yeah,
people.
great people. And it's like, I think my whole life, luckily, it's been through people only. Like you land up in spaces or in jobs or in friendships
Yeah.
or in groups. I'm a kind of following the intuitive nature of like who is saying something. Let's go
Yeah.
find out. So yeah,
Yeah.
pre ChatGPT and Google and like this is the
Yeah,
manner
yeah, yeah.
of
Okay,
life.
quickly then tell us about your singing and your music.
Yeah,
Little
so
bit.
I've trained in Hindustani classical and Carnatic on and off, not like formally.
Mm.
Only because I think our parents, when we were kids, they were like put them in these classes because it's too much holiday time, you know.
Yeah.
But I have enjoyed my nani playing the harmonium, the sitar, the piano, my nana writing poetry, all my nani and her siblings putting his poetry into the rags, singing them together, having these mehfils, all of us singing together
I have
as
to, I have
kids.
to add,
Yeah.
her nani and nana were my foster parents. Lovely people, Madan and Sheila Didi.
Yeah.
And we used to all sing together with Sheila ji,
Mm,
and we used to sing Madan ji's poems.
mm. So I think that richness
Yeah.
and just this entire thing also of like when you sing, it really makes you feel at home in your heart, in your body, and even
The
Vaishnav uncle,
harmony,
yeah, harmony.
ballads.
It's like it's divine, isn't it? And then even Vaishnav uncle, he bought me like a tanpura. He's like, you must continue. So when some people tell you that you must do something, you cannot keep it at the back of your head. And then there's so much like I used to have this really sweet boyfriend in school. He made me mixtapes because that's the 90s, you know, special mixtape.
Yeah.
That right here. And even my seniors in school used to be like, you listen to these songs and you write the lyrics for us. That was like my ragging. So it was like musical tasks were like given to me, or like through we used to have these house parties in school where we used to listen to all the Punjabi sort of, you know, UK, the garage, from the Caribbean, all the world sounds coming into our traditional sound. So I think I've had such and my father and I driving, all of us driving to Preetnagar and back, we used to buy like the, you know, top 10 of that time. Then he'd send me to choose what song, and then we'd listen to these songs, and my taya listening. So I think everyone's musical antennas, and then I was observant of all of them. So I think for me, it's interesting.
You write your own songs.
Yeah, I write my own songs. I write my own tunes, and my, you know, friends from so many different parts of life. And then I used to host this sort of a Sunday jam every time in Delhi for like almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Where all my friends, we all have designer, photographer, someone's a coder, someone's a filmmaker, but they all play something. So then we'll keep coming and meeting.
That was a good time to grow up in, right?
Yeah.
Right now, people are kind of.
I mean, I wouldn't discard today because I mean, what's the point of living then, right? But I think there are more dangers in terms of like you can actually scroll away weeks and years on this like endless scroll. Whereas if there was no that stupid Nokia, so nice, I think I might switch back to it. You can't do much, right? So you will be like, okay, maybe I'll go buy coconuts and make like I don't know, like a gelatine something, or maybe I'll go see my friend and be like, can you go for a coffee, or maybe I'll host a dinner, you know, like because you want to meet people. But I think here we kind of getting into our own holes and we stay there, and then we all have our insecurities, and social media will highlight them like I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, that person is more. So I think it's a time to be much more alert of that sort of space. Yeah.
And where, I mean, do you have dreams of creating a masterpiece that is, you know, kind of mix it in this world or something like that?
I think the world is quite vast and tastes are quite varied, but I think I make the masterpieces for myself, and they are not life defining, but they are like era defining. So like even for me, like designing this bookshelf, it's a thing, you know, like I'll think about like how much negative space, what's the weight, what is this bench that I'm going to design. So painting, design, music, I think it's all like you're trying to just communicate that one feeling and you want to be as true to it. So it has a form and then it stays there. And then you move slowly to the whatever next thing might be. And I think they should all stand through time for the thing that they are trying to evoke. And I think for me that is a successful practice more than like cracking the. And I sometimes do, and sometimes I can then go and enjoy a long time studying something in Italy, or because I earned well somewhere. Then I go and put it into the next inspiration or the next you know collaboration.
Creative projects.
So I think it sort of works in that way. Yeah.
What you said about creating, say, this bookshelf, is what if I mean what I think people do.
Yeah.
You know, if they have don't chain themselves in wrongness and all judgment and all those kind of things, that's what somebody would do. Think about, okay, what how much, where, they were free to do so.
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of people do it also.
Yeah, I think so. I think people who enjoy their craft or crafts for multi-talented or multi-faceted,
even
enjoy themselves, find a way of expression, then I think it's pretty good. Because I think we are meant to create as humans.
And
we have to work with our hands. We have to work with like some level of challenge, and you reach. It shouldn't be so high that you can't ever achieve it, but one step. I think that's the flow. Also, the unlocking of the flow. A problem is given to your brain that you can solve. It's not too easy because then it's solved already. Slight challenge, solve it. Okay, allow the resolve. Allow that tension to be like, now what? And then some next thing emerges, and then I think
and you do it immersed in the process, then you're not performing. But then somebody says it's nice. That's nice too.
That's nice too. And if it's not nice yet, maybe it's not the time for it yet, or maybe it's not the right audience for it. And then something always does pull something else. So something like that.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Likewise, I really enjoyed our chat.
Great. And please carry on the good work.
Thank you. I will.
It's not work, actually.
It's fun.
You being you.
Yeah, it's just fun. Fun and like a little bit of challenge, a little bit of fun, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, if you like this content, please like and share it with someone who would also like it. And do subscribe. It will really help us.